Hello guys, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Memphis Grizzlies MyGM. Today in this episode, the Memphis Grizzlies will be taking on the Houston Rockets. But before that, we're going to look at the games we played before we met the Houston Rockets in H-Town. Starting off, we took an L against the Portland Trail Blazers and won against the Sacramento Kings. And then traveling to Los Angeles, we lost to the LA Lakers, and LeBron James got his revenge against us. And LeBron James' former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, beat the Memphis Grizzlies as well, but the Grizzlies were able to rebound against the Boston Celtics. And then we have the Houston Rockets game and the other games upcoming next. This is going to be a very interesting matchup for the Houston Rockets and the Memphis Grizzlies again. As we all know, Houston beat the Grizzlies at their hometown in Memphis, Tennessee. So nonetheless, let's get to the injuries from around the league. Injuries this season has played the league. A lot of the NBA young stars like Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, John Wall have been plagued with multiple injuries this season. Josh Jackson is another guy added to the injury list, and it's just becoming ridiculous how many guys are getting hurt this year. Nonetheless, these teams still have to fight through these injuries and try and pick up a W. Rudy Gobert, Willie Cauley-Stein, Jerome Martin, Dwight Howard are a couple more guys to name off this list, but hopefully Mike Conley will be back soon for the Memphis Grizzlies. Nonetheless, let's take a look at the award races for the NBA. Most valuable player, Stephen Curry leads the way in that category. Moving on to the next category here, Rookie of the Year, DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Triple J, Colin Sexton. It's good to have Triple J in there, although he isn't first. It's a good look to have him in there just to know that he's performing well with the rookies in the league. Sixth Man of the Year, that one is led by Tyreke Evans, followed by Dennis Schroeder, Mo Bamba, and the rest of those players. Defensive Player, Giannis Antetokounmpo leads the way there, with Draymond Green being the last player on that list. Most Improved Player, two similar players on the list, Blake Griffin and Aaron Gordon, followed by Buddy Hield, Jordan Clarkson, and Donovan Mitchell. Looking at the players of the month, Eastern and Western Conference here, you guys could quickly take a look there, and we're going to be moving on to the next subject pretty quickly here. We now have the NBA All-Star voting here, and LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo is your top vote getters and your team captains. You guys can also look quickly here, the players who are in. But head into the Rockets game against the Memphis Grizzlies, and we are ready to get this one underway. The Grizzlies will surely like to get a revenge victory here today against the Houston Rockets. After the Rockets beat them in their own place, the Grizzlies are looking for a much needed win. The key matchup today we have to watch out for is Marc Gasol and Clint Capella. Another matchup we should watch out for is between James Harden and Kyle Anderson. Garrett Temple will be guarding James Harden for a majority of the game in the first half, but then later on in the video we will switch matchups. Jump ball is about set, and the tip goes to the Houston Rockets, and that is Chris Paul, who passes it up court to James Harden, being guarded by Garrett Temple early on into this game. Harden now looking for an option, gives it to PJ Tucker for a three-pointer, and that one falls through the bottom of the net. It is on New Year's Eve this game is being played, and happy New Year's Eve to everyone. James Harden now with a drive, spins and get that one ripped away from him. Great defense by Garrett Temple, and on the break is Triple J looking for an option here, gives it to Marc Gasol for a nice one-handed dunk, and the Grizzlies have a bit of momentum here but are still down. Grizzlies on the break now decide to slow it down. Screen set by Triple J. Now Mac gives it to Triple J to Kyle Anderson, now being guarded by Carmelo Anthony. Triple J with another screen. Back out to Garrett Temple, back to Kyle Anderson. Now working it down low into the low post with Triple J there, post spin, and that one goes to the bottom of the net for a nice and easy 2 points for Triple J. Rockets have the ball, and that is James Harden coming up court with it, pushes it to Carmelo Anthony and oops it up to Clint Capella there. A beautiful two-handed dunk oop by Clint Capella and Carmelo Anthony. Mac with the ball and gets another screen from Selvin Mac, but is being guarded tightly by Chris Paul, who has played excellent defense for this whole match here. Gives the pass to Kyle Anderson. Triple J with another screen, and he is being involved in the offense pretty early on. Back out to Kyle Anderson, three-pointer. PJ Tucker is late on the contest, and that three-pointer still falls through the bottom of the rim. Grizzlies have the ball back again, and that ball is being worked down low into the post once more with Marc Gasol backing down Clint Capella. Double team from Chris Paul back out to get Temple. 3-pointer, and that one falls through the net. And the Grizzlies are trying to extend their lead here, but the Rockets will not go away lightly. James Harden gets the pick, but decides to drive to the rim, trying to find something over Kyle Anderson. James Harden pump fakes, being guarded tightly, gives it up, and that is James Harden again for a mid-range jumper. That one bricks off the rim, back out to Eric Gordon, and he gets the 3-pointer to fall again. The Grizzlies have to do a better job of rebounding here early on in this game if they want to pull away. Marshawn Brooks has now entered the game, and the reserves are also starting to come in. Wayne Sheldon is the shooting guard right now, and that one is given to Chandler Parson, who is at the 4 position, being guarded by Marquise Chris. Marshawn Brooks 3-pointer, and that one falls through the bottom of the net. And this Grizzlies team right here is playing with a lot of momentum. They really want to get a win against the Houston Rockets. Screen, that one is stolen by the Rockets, and on the break, James Harden to the rim he goes. He gets the tough layup to fall through the rim, and he is looking for a foul from the refs, and the Grizzlies will have to call a timeout there. But the Grizzlies are on a break with the score being 26-27. Wayne Sheldon mid-range pull-up 3, and that one falls to the rim, and that is going to be the end of the first quarter. An exciting quarter so far here in Houston, and the score is very close, and I am expecting it to be close for the remainder of this game. 28-27 is your final score after 1 quarter of play. Now resuming action in the second quarter. The Grizzlies have the ball, and that one is in Marshawn Brooks' hand. Brooks to Wayne Sheldon for a nice two-handed dunk, and that is going to tie things up here in Houston. The Rockets have the ball coming up court with Chris Paul trying to work on Marshawn Brooks. Brooks trying to play the best defense that he possibly can, and Chris Paul has to back that one out again. Paul to the rim. That one is contested pretty well there by Marshawn Brooks, but he still gets the layup to go. Paul once more trying to work on Marshawn Brooks again, trying to find an option here to pass to, but decides to take it himself and gets the layup to go, and the Grizzlies have to call a timeout. Marshawn Brooks is just being torched by Chris Paul, and he's playing the best defense that he possibly can. These guys just need to control their emotions and not try and go back at anyone. That ball is given down low into the post to Marc Gasol, who has Chris Paul on him, and he gets the layup to go. A beautiful reverse layup to go for Marc Gasol, and he has a pretty good start to the game so far. Coming up court is Chris Paul again. Hopefully he does not try and score on Marshawn Brooks, but it looks like he's going to try and take up to the rim again, and he gets the layup to go once more. Man, oh man, Chris Paul is absolutely working on Marshawn Brooks, and Brooks comes out, and Chris Paul gets the steal, and the Rockets are going the other way now. They are on a fast break, and there's a oop to Clint Capella. Just like that, the Rockets are a very fast team in transition, but just like that, the Grizzlies are as well, as Shelvin Mack gets a nice two-handed dunk, and that is going to give the Grizzlies the lead back. A 1-point game here in Houston. Kyle Anderson at the top of the key now, being guarded by Carmelo Anthony, trying to find an option to pass to, gives it to Shelvin Mack in the corner. KA with the screen now, pump fakes over Carmelo Anthony. Now KA being guarded by Kyle Anderson. Play clock winding down, trying to find a shot, and forces up a shot and gets it to go. A tough shot, and that is a 3-point lead for the Memphis Grizzlies here. The Rockets now have the ball on a fast break, and they get that one to James Harden, who is cold there, and that is an easy layup for him there. Grizzlies on the break, trying to find something that would work out here. They give it up to Triple J, now back out to Shelvin Mack. They're looking for an option here, trying to score quick while the shot clock is winding down. Temple with a 3-pointer, and that is a huge 3-pointer to tie things up at the end of the half. A beautiful shot by Temple, and that is going to give the Grizzlies a bit of momentum heading into the second half. Looking at the halftime report here, you can see that this game is a close battle. Not one team is really dominating in any category. And now we're going to shortly resume the third quarter. A beautiful sight of the Houston area there, but nonetheless, let's get back onto the game, where the score is 54-53, and the Grizzlies are leading by 1 point. Chris Paul with the ball has been absolutely superb here today, and he is going to pull up for a 3, and he gets that one to fall. Chris Paul has been on an absolute tear so far, and he has the ball coming up court again, looking for someone to pass to, and is going to take his time and gets the oop to Clint Capella. We've seen that connection before, and that is a beautiful oop by Clint Capella, and he has 8 points and 7 rebounds on the day. Grizzlies losing their momentum here. Screen set by Marc Gasol. Shelvin Mack trying to find Marc Gasol, now gives it to him. Pass given to Kyle Anderson in the corner. Screen set by Marc Gasol again. Baseline, Kyle Anderson over Clint Capella, and he gets the tough layup to go, looking for a foul from the refs. He definitely deserved it there. James Harden dribbling the ball up court. Now, we wouldn't be surprised here if we see an ISO from James Harden, but that one is given to Carmelo Anthony, who comes off the screen. Back to James Harden. Step back, pull up three over KA, and he gets that one to go. This has been an exciting game so far here in Houston. Chris Paul now in the corner of the court, tries to get an oop to PJ Tucker, but can't get that one to go. And on the break, they go oop to Triple J, and he gets it to go. One-handed slam for Triple J there, and a beautiful oop thrown from Marshawn Brooks to Triple J, and the Grizzlies are on the break once more. Triple J, corner, mid-range, and he gets that one to fall, and that is going to cut it down to a 6-point game. Grizzlies with the ball with less than 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Brooks looking for an option, gives it out to Triple J, three-pointer J, and that one is good. That one is money. Grizzlies still down, but the Houston Rockets have the ball back. At the top of the key is James Harden, who gets the screen set from James Ennis. James Harden to the rim, mid-range pull-up, and that one falls through the bottom of the net. Rockets on the break once more. Gerald Green has the ball. Pull up mid-range for Gerald Green, and he gets that one to go. 5-point game, and the Grizzlies are trying to hold on here. James Harden to the rim now. Pump fakes, kicks it back out to Gerald Green. Looking for an option, now gives it back out to James Harden. Harden, ISO, nasty step back over Marshawn Brooks, but can't get that three-pointer to go. And down the other way we go with the Memphis Grizzlies. Ball given to Chandler Parson, and a tough layup over Gerald Green, and he gets that one to fall through the rim. Harden with the ISO now trying to work his way to rim. Gets that one stripped by Ivan Rabb, but the Houston Rockets, recovers there, and they're looking for an option to score. Gerald Green, pull up three, and that one falls through the net, and the Grizzlies are down by 1 point now, and the Houston Rockets have the ball back with Carmelo Anthony looking to make himself an option to score. He gives it up to Gerald Green. Green now trying to make himself an option to score. Coming off his screen is James Harden, and that three-pointer is through the net. That is going to end out this exciting third quarter between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Houston Rockets. Both teams have been going back and forth, and the score here is 79-83. We're coming down to the ending stages of this game, and both teams are gonna have to play their best if they want to try and win. But beginning, the Memphis Grizzlies have their reserves in to start the fourth quarter. Wayne Selden pull up three, and that one falls, and that is gonna give them the lead back by 1 point. Houston Rockets on the break now. Carmelo Anthony, who hasn't played well here all day, now decides to take a mid-range, and he gets that one to go. That is just a sigh of relief for Carmelo Anthony there, and the Grizzlies has had to call a timeout just to get their starters back into this game before anything gets a little too crazy or out of hand. Garrett Temple, corner, Shelvin Mack, three-pointer, and that one falls through the bottom of the rim, and that is a 2-point lead for the Grizzlies now. Chris Paul is back into the game with James Harden, who has been ice cold today and is being guarded by Kyle Anderson. Tough layup by Clint Capella, can't get that one to go. Gets his own rebound, wide open is PJ Tucker, and that one falls through the bottom of the rim, where the Houston Rockets are now down by 4 points. Chris Paul looking to do his famous ISO moves, trying to get to the rim here. Shelvin Mack guarding him the best he can. Mid-range pull-up, and Chris Paul gets it to go. Just like in real life, Chris Paul is trying to take over. 96-92 is the score with less than 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Clint Capella gives the ball to PJ Tucker, guarded by Triple J. Gets the screen from Clint Capella there. PJ Tucker trying to get to the rim, forces up a crazy shot and gets the one-handed hook to go. The Grizzlies on the other side of the court now slows things down, where Shelvin Mack gets the pick from Marc Gasol. Top of the key, three-pointer, Gasol, and that one rolls around the rim and goes through the bottom of the net. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Chris Paul at the top of the court now gets the screen set from Carmelo Anthony. Chris Paul towards the rim, decides to pull up for a mid-range and gets it to go over to Shelvin Mack, who played intense defense there. Grizzlies now have the ball back, and they're going to slow things down here once more. Coming off a double screen is Garrett Temple, decides not to pull the three-pointer, and now he comes around Triple J trying to get towards the rim, and he does here with a nice finger roll layup, and that is going to extend the Grizzlies' lead. The Houston Rockets are back on the break now, and that is Eric Gordon, who gets that one over Garrett Temple but can't get it to go, and it's a putback by Clint Capella. The Rockets have the ball back now again, down by 1 point. All the fans are on their feet. Chris Paul trying to get towards the rim, and that is a foul and one for Chris Paul, and that is Marc Gasol last foul. He has fouled out, and Chris Paul is just working on this whole Grizzlies team, and he gets the N1 to go here, and the Grizzlies now find themselves down by 2 points. The Rockets have the ball back now. Carmelo Anthony kicks it out to Chris Paul, three-pointer. That one falls through the bottom of the net, and this is not looking too good for the Memphis Grizzlies. They have to try and score quickly here, and just like that, Shelvin Mack pushes the ball up court. Triple J comes to set a screen, but Matt goes the other way. Triple J three-pointer, and that one is going to fall through the bottom of the net, and that is going to cut this lead down to a 2-point game. No foul yet, and Shelvin Mack gets the steal. He is all the way by himself, and they're going to slow things down and get a timeout with 17 seconds remaining on the clock. A huge steal by Shelvin Mack there, and the Memphis Grizzlies are in a position to tie things up. Inbound pass, Marshawn Brooks, who comes in for Shelvin Mack, gets the screen from Triple J. Brooks looking for an option. Triple J towards the rim over Chris Paul. He can't get it to go, gets his own rebound and puts it back up and in, and that is going to tie things up here in Houston with 2.2 seconds remaining. Let's see if the Rockets could get off a good shot. Inbound pass is waiting. Chris Paul is trying to get it. James Harden trying to get it as well. That one is blocked by Marshawn Brooks. And finally, the Grizzlies play good defense on Chris Paul. And we're going to be heading to overtime now. 108 is your final score. And overtime is just around the corner. Beginning of overtime, the Rockets have the ball. Carmelo Anthony is still in the game. James Harden up and under, and one for James Harden there as he was hit on the play, and he is going to make that free throw as well. Steal by Marshawn Brooks. Now he backs it out, trying to find a wide open guy. He has Triple J right under the rim, and he is going to throw that one down, and that is going to cut it down to a 1-point game. James Harden at the top of the key, being guarded closely by Kyle Anderson. Gets the screen from Carmelo Anthony, who now rolls to the rim. Kyle Anderson guarding James Harden pretty good here, and they strip that one away from number 13, and down the other way, number 1 goes. Kyle Anderson gets the finger roll layup to go, and they're down by 3 points now. Garrett Temple now guarded by Chris Paul here. That's the matchup you want to take advantage of, but they decide to slow it down, getting the screen from Triple J there. Now Garrett Temple gives it down low to Triple J, post spin, and he gets that one to go over Clint Capella, who played superb defense there, and the Rockets have the ball back now. James Harden trying to force his way to the rim, can't really go nowhere, being guarded tightly by Kyle Anderson, decides to give it up to Carmelo Anthony. Chris Paul trying to make himself open as an option to score here, now gives it back to James Harden. Harden trying to force his way to the rim again, trying to find something here, and oops it up to Clint Capella. An amazing passing vision from James Harden there, and oops it up to Clint Capella for 2 points. Grizzlies down by 3 points. Triple J from the same spot again, and that one falls through the bottom of the rim once more, and we have tied things up in Houston. With less than a minute remaining, the Houston Rockets turn the ball over, and down the other way the Grizzlies go. Corner, that one is given to Kyle Anderson at the top of the key, and he gets that three-pointer to fall, and the Houston Rockets have to call a timeout as they are up by 3 points. We're in the winding moments of the game here so far. Marshawn Brooks being guarded by Clint Capella. Now they're going to work this one down low, and that one is another 2-pointer for Triple J here, and things are looking good for the Memphis Grizzlies. The fans are on their feet. The Rockets have to get up a good shot here with 23.9 seconds remaining. They have a lot of time to work with and try and get up a good shot, and James Harden forces his way to the line. Come on, refs, you have to let that one play out. That is not a great call by the refs, and James Harden is going to go to the line for 2 free throws. He gets the first one to go, and he gets the second one to go. Now it's time for the Grizzlies to respond here, and they hit their free throws, and the Rockets have the ball back again, trying to find a shot. James Harden not going to get the foul call this time. They give it to CP3. Now back out to James Harden. Capella now, who James Harden runs behind. James Harden, three-pointer, and he gets it to go, and he's going to tie things up with 1.4 seconds left. We could be looking at a double overtime, but let's see what the Memphis Grizzlies have in store for us. They're trying to find a play. Oop to Marshawn Brooks, and he gets it to go. Brooks gets the 2-pointer to go off of the oop, and that is a victory for the Memphis Grizzlies here in Houston. An amazing victory, a last-second shot by Marshawn Brooks, who is the hero of this game, and the Memphis Grizzlies are on cloud 9 right now. No better way to end out that game when Marshawn Brooks catching a oop from the inbounds and getting it to go. It rolled around the rim for a quick second. We thought it would have been off, but he was able to get that one to fall through the rim. And now the series is tied 1-1 between the Houston Rockets and the Memphis Grizzlies. This for sure, if these two teams meet in the playoffs, is going to be a very interesting matchup. These two teams, they play real hard. They play defense, they play offense, and it's basketball you just want to watch. I have to say, from my personal experience, this was one of the more funner games I played on 2K as of late. I know not every game is going to be interesting as this one, but just got to push through it. This was a very fun game to play. Thank you guys for watching, but we still have a lot more to cover at the end of this. Right now you're seeing all the player stats. Everyone who played today contributed pretty well here. All the minutes were important here, no matter if you played or didn't even score a bucket. I'm really glad all the guys showed up here for the Memphis Grizzlies today. We shot pretty good. We shot 53% to their 50, I believe. Won by 2 points and was looking at a potential overtime, but nonetheless, let's get back onto the recap here. Trades, we have 2 trades so far. Langston Galloway goes to the Utah Jazz, while Raul Neto heads to the Detroit Pistons, and Landry Shamet from the 76ers head to Golden State for Quinn Cook, the point guard. Not too many trades here so far during this season, but we do have a handful of signings here. Dwight Buck resigns, Mirza Teletovic resigns, Kawhi Leonard also resigns, I believe, to a 3-year deal for $93 million. Pretty good deal for Kawhi Leonard, as he has locked up his position in Toronto. The Celtics also re-signed Marcus Morris to a short 2-year deal, paying about $6 million a year. We're now going to take a quick look at some of the coach hiring and firing. The Atlanta Hawks have hired head coach Michael Stafford, and they have fired their former head coach Lloyd Pierce. The Hawks wasn't too happy with what they seen, but now let's take a look at the standings from around the league now after these 30 games have been played. It's been a tough 10 games for the Memphis Grizzlies down this stretch, and hopefully the schedule here lightens up for them for these next 10 games. We're approaching the halfway point of the season, and hopefully we could get it done a bit more quickly. I apologize for making you guys wait longer than 2 weeks here, but these games do take time to play. But I just want to thank you guys for sticking with this series, and hopefully you're enjoying the content here. Looking at the league leaders now, we have Damian Lillard, who is averaging 30.6 points per game. Hassan Whiteside leads the league in rebounds per game. Moving on to assists shortly here, Chris Paul, who put up a good fight against the Memphis Grizzlies, has close to 11 assists per game. Stephen Curry is the leader for steals per game. Blocks per game, we're going to take a look at that shortly here. Surprisingly, it's Al Horford, who almost has 3 blocks per game. Kawhi Leonard is reckless with the ball and leads the league in turnovers. And looking at our player stats, and a guy we haven't forgot about is Michael Conley. He is set to come back from his injury pretty soon, and we're going to get a status on him pretty shortly here after we looked at the player stats so far. But it's going to be a great addition to have Michael Conley back. He is just going to put this team over the hump. And you can see here, Michael Conley projected recovery date is January 11th, 2019. That is only about 2 or 3 days away here, as the Memphis Grizzlies will have to play one more game without him, and that is against the San Antonio Spurs. But Michael Conley should be back for the Miami Heat game. Now we're going to take a look at some of the player concerns and their issues they've had so far with the team. JaMychal Green wanted more minutes, but unfortunately at this time we just cannot provide that to him. There's a lot of good players on the team, and he is just going to have to wait his turn, and when he do get his turn, he's just going to have to step up to his best abilities to prove to us that he deserves more minutes. It's hard when you have a developing young center, Ivan Rabb, who has been playing pretty well here so far over these last couple of games, and you don't want to hinder his development in order to get JaMychal Green some playing time, who hasn't really panned out in the NBA. We were now taken to a press conference where word got out that JaMychal Green wanted more playing time, and we were asked how tough is it to manage these players' egos and emotion, and basically I just said it's not hard at all. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's gonna want something they want. Nothing is perfect, but we just have to come to terms with where we are as a team right now. Omir Caspi wasn't happy as well with his playing time, and we had to tell him straight up the same thing we did with JaMychal Green. It's just not his time yet. If he continues to show us that he's going to be hitting shots consistently, then yes, his minutes will get an increase, as Dillon Brooks has not played too well over these last couple of games, and the Memphis Grizzlies are looking to possibly trade Dillon Brooks and JaMychal Green if things does not work out before the trade deadline. Omir Caspi would get his role increased, and he would get a lot more playing time if he can keep his shot consistent. Lastly, we then had Chandler Parsons come to us about a contract extension. Chandler Parsons coming off the bench wants a contract extension. We're not ready to give that to him yet, and our response here was, we're not just ready. We're gonna see and reevaluate his contract during the offseason. I don't want to rush into anything, and I think that's the best course of action here with Chandler Parsons, especially with the Memphis Grizzlies being so cap struck. They don't really have a lot of options to go to or a lot of money to re-sign players, and we're gonna want to try and make a splash in the free agency or by the trade deadline. But this episode is coming to an end. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking with this series, and I'm gonna try and get out the next 10 games as soon as possible. This was a very fun episode to commentate, and I will see you guys later.